I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Lenox Township Board of Trustees, Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of meeting agenda. So there was thing that was accidentally omitted. It is still in your packets. Item G, New Haven fireworks proposal. So I will make a motion to amend the agenda to include item G, New Haven fireworks proposal.
I'll second.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by Treasurer Holland. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Approval of minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from meeting 2/5/24 as presented. Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Holland, supported by Trustee Gurley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Public announcements. Public comment. All right, consent agenda. All items listed under this consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Board and will be enacted by one motion. According to established township meeting rules, there will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or public so requests at or prior to the meeting, in which event the chair of the meeting may remove such items from the consent agenda for discussion and consideration under agenda item number 8 below. Approval of the consent agenda shall be by a majority roll call vote with those present and voting.
For orders and bills, there is a total of $2,123,025.16 that needs to be approved.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda and orders and bills in the amount of $2,123,025.16.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Honnold, supported by Clerk Lawson. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Honnold.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Reader.
Aye. All right, new business, item A, replacement tops for park trash cans. Mr. Trump.
Good evening. You should have in front of you a proposal that I put together for some replacement tops for all of our exterior trash cans we have in the park as well as around this building. These tops are metal, they are coated, but they're pretty much at the end of their life. They're getting rusted out really bad. Most of the springs on the doors have failed. The unfortunate part is there's not a big supply out there for these tops of that size. I was able to find one vendor, I believe they're located in Utah, that would be able to supply us with metal tops to replace on the existing cans. Counting up what we have, accounting for a couple of extras to hold as spares in case some get damaged or lost, I estimate that we should purchase 20 of these tops. They average about 150 a piece. It took some time, but she finally was able to get back to me with a freight charge for those 20. So for 20 tops with freight to our door, we would be looking at $3,699 to replace 20 of these toppers. Sounds like a lot, but when you start looking at complete trash cans, outdoor cans that withstand the weather, very, very expensive. I mean, that for 20 replacement cans, we'd be looking at quadruple the cost, easily. So I recommend to replace these tops because the rest of the cans are actually in pretty good shape.
I make
make a motion that we approve the purchase of 20 replacement tops for the park trash cans from Jennison at the total of $3,699.03 as recommended by the DPW superintendent.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Gurley, supported by clerk Lawson. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Gurley? Aye. Lawson?
Aye.
Connell?
Aye.
Reader?
Aye. All right, item B, DPW full-time position recommendation. Mr. Trump.
As most of you are aware, we've had an open full-time position in the DPW since late last summer. We did have a seasonal person that rounded out the year for us, and we've been making do with the two of us, and we've been fortunate with the light winter we've had. I recently did receive some applications for this position. Clerk Lawson and myself, we did interview a couple individuals, and one candidate that I thought really fit the position that we have under the criteria would be Mr. Joseph Bernard. At this time, I would recommend Mr. Bernard for the full-time DPW position.
Are you looking to keep him on after, or is he just seasonal?
No, this would be a full-time position.
Okay.
And then once we get going, depending on our needs, there may be a need to activate a seasonal position if we start getting over-inundated with some of the work that's required.
Okay.
But that would be at a later date. The good thing might seem premature because of where we're at. We're almost feels like we're in between seasons. It's actually a good time to get him a little bit acclimated with not only our equipment or our properties, but also our day-to-day activities. So once the weather does fully break and we can get going, we won't have to waste that time per se in that training phase.
Okay, then I will motion to approve the recommendation of DPW Superintendent Cam Trombley to approve the hiring of Joseph Bernard for the DPWs starting at $17 an hour.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Hahn, supported by trustee Gurley. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Connell?
Aye.
Gurley? Aye. Reader?
Aye.
Lawson?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, item C, clerk's office assistant position. Madam Clerk.
All right, after receiving many applications, Carol and I interviewed several candidates for the clerk's office position. There are a few great candidates, but Jenna Raymond, she stood out to us with her background and experience. She works in a vet's office right now in the office part. She does like invoicing and things that would fit for our position. So we were confident that she would be a good fit for the clerk's office. I recommend that we approve her, Jenna Raymond, for the clerk's office position.
Is there a motion? Okay. Okay, then I will make the motion to approve the hiring of Jenna Raymond for the position of clerk's office assistant at the rate of $17 an hour.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Hahn, supported by trustee Gurley. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Connell?
Aye.
Gurley? Aye. Lawson?
Aye.
Reader?
Aye. All right, item D, paving standards modification. So some time ago, the board previous to this one approved paving standards that strictly prohibited the use of millings or recycled material of any kind for driveways or parking lots. This, in my opinion, has placed an undue hardship and burden on our residents, businesses, and any potential commercial development in Lenox Township. Tonight, I'm proposing that we revoke this prohibition on the use of millings or recycled material of any kind from the township paving standards.
is this for everything? Or is it for just like driveways and storage lots or whatever?
Sir, would you like to come up and speak on what the paving standards apply to?
Good evening. I believe the supervisor recommendation is for all pavement. If you recall, about a couple of years ago, we went through this.
2018?
2018, we went through, and there was a similar request to use asphalt millings, and we went through a study and we found some supporting document. This material is not suitable for paving, and our recommendation to the board was not to use it or not allow it anywhere. There was one exception when an applicant came in and they requested the use of that material, and after extensive discussion, the board allowed it with an indemnification agreement that they are proceeding on their own risk and they're indemnifying the township from any future issues. And that agreement was signed from one applicant. The second applicant was almost next door. They did not agree to the indemnification agreement, so they ended up using conventional aggregate. So that was the only location that was allowed. The condition was basically the asphalt millings will have to perform as a conventional aggregate. And recently we've seen examples of that material cannot perform exactly as a conventional aggregate. And our recommendation stands that we do not recommend that material to be used for paving. The board, you have all the right to adopt whatever standards you see fit for the township, but I can't recommend it from an engineering standpoint for performance, protection, health, welfare, and safety.
What about for like regular driveways, residential?
Residential driveways are a little bit different because it's not accessed by
Heavy,
fire, EMS, or very heavy equipment. We do have the same concern if it's a long driveway, then how would a fire truck access that? Not having a good base. But that's different. It's not a commercial or a public parking. So that could be waived on residential. The only thing is if that material close to a natural water course, that the county soil erosion had a problem with that because all of them contamination from the recycled asphalt will percolate back into the ground and get to a natural water course.
And what source would that be under?
So any surface water, consider it a natural
Well,
water
I'm saying,
course.
what source are you citing for the contamination? Because I have paper here from the Department of Health and Human Services, the federal Department of Health and Human Services, saying that they found actually less contamination after asphalt millings were used in the ground. And this was published in August of 2020.
So are they using that for a top course or a bottom course?
They actually used it in three different types.
Can I read? I wasn't aware of the stock.
Now, I believe if you look at the findings, at the end of the study, they found that the ground was actually less contaminated.
So again, this is a lengthy document. I can spin it. The rule of thumb is you use it for a base and you top it with asphalt or a different acceptable non-recycled material, it would be an acceptable base. But to use it fully as a replacement for an aggregate like a stone or a gravel driveway, that would not be recommended. Now, we've consulted with Macomb County Soil Erosion. That was their recommendation. We actually called the Road Commission, Macomb County Road Commission, and they said that material is not allowed. They don't allow it.
Well, obviously, they don't use it for the roads, and I'd honestly take their word with a grain of salt, looking how bad our dirt roads are.
Again, I mean, I can see this and we can read it, and the studies, that depends on where, and what kind, and what kind of recycled material, and where the asphalt generated from, did it have material doing that? Was it cleaned completely? Because asphalt is a recycled material to begin with, but it's recycled at the factory. So they clean it from all contamination and reuse it. But our recommendation always follow MDOT. And MDOT says no more than 20% of recycled material is allowed in any pavement. So was always the rule in every community that I served, and even neighboring communities. So this says use 100% recycled material, which is completely against the standards. And again, you as a board, it's your pleasure. I cannot recommend it.
Personally, I would like to table this. I know you don't want to, but I would like to table this until we can look into it a little bit more, because we haven't seen that paper.
Highland District?
Okay. And I would make a motion to table this until next month.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Honnold, supported by Clerk Lawson. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Honnold,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
All right. Item E, overtime policy modification.
Okay, so attached, you'll find the current overtime policy and an amended version that clarifies how our employees will be compensated for working on elections and early voting. Our current policy does not provide clear guidance on how to handle situations that require employees to work on holidays, excluding emergencies. Additionally, it does not state how to pay employees who volunteer to assist the clerk's office during election-related tasks. So it pretty much states that on holidays, with approval of supervisor, they receive double time. Employees working outside of the clerk's office that volunteer to work for elections get election pay, and that overtime on election day, that's past 8 hours, they get overtime on election wage rate. So pretty much the policy, stays, but with the amended version.
I will motion to approve the modification of the overtime policy to clarify the situations that require employees to work on holidays, as well as when employees volunteer to assist the clerk's office with election-related tasks.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Honnold, supported by Trustee Gurley. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Honnold,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Reader.
Aye. All right. Item F, local choice ballot initiative resolution. So tonight we're proposing the following resolution in support of the ballot initiative led by the group Citizens for Local Change that seeks to repeal Public Act 233 of 2023, which stripped any local siting authority over utility scale renewable energy facilities, shifting it to the appointed bureaucrats at the Michigan Public Service Commission. If successful on the November ballot, the initiative would restore critical zoning authority to Michigan's communities for how they choose to plan and zone for clean energy. I'm strongly recommending the passage of this resolution tonight.
Motion to approve Resolution 2024-2, expressing support for the Citizens Board Over Choice Ballot Initiative, which seeks to amend the Clean and Renewable Energy and Energy Waste Reduction Act as recommended by Supervisor Reader.
I'll second. I have a motion by Treasurer Honnold, supported by the Chair. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Honnold.
Aye.
Reader.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
All right, item G, New Haven fireworks proposal. So as every year this comes up, the Village of New Haven has once again asked Lenox Township to participate in splitting the cost of the firework display show on the 13th of July. Total cost is $12,000, so the township's portion would only be $6,000 of that. And with that, I'll make a motion to split the cost with the Village of New Haven for the Lenox New Haven fireworks show at a cost of $6,000 to Lenox Township.
Second.
I have a motion by the Chair, supported by Clerk Lawson. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Reader.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Gurley. Aye. Honnold.
No.
All right. Item 11, public comment.
Just one second. Mr. Supervisor, I was reading this report. This report is actually for wrap material, which is reclaimed asphalt pavement. That means it's already processed in a plant. This is not about asphalt millings that somebody went to a parking lot, grinded the old asphalt, made it into aggregate, and trying to reuse it somewhere else. The wrap is acceptable. Our ordinance allows it, follows on that. Michigan Department of Transportation standards, 20% of that is already approved for use. So for reclaimed asphalt pavement, it's always acceptable. But asphalt millings, brought from an unknown source, it's not. They're two different things. Just want to clarify.
I'm Bernie Rossio, and I'd like to make a comment about the asphalt millings. Back 3 years ago, there was different spots where the asphalt millings was used, and it seemed to be all right. One of those was the landfill. The other one was a county ditch that the county put a temporary culvert in, they said. That's on Fairchild Road, south of 25 Mile Road. That temporary culvert, I go by it every day, it's still there. And obviously, it must be all right for them to use. Another thing on 23 Mile Road, they put a water line in, and they used the asphalt millings for the base of the water line. And that was pointed out at that time too. And that was done by, naturally was inspected by the county. Thank you.
Any further public comment? Call from the board. All right, adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn at 6:55.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Gurley, supported by treasurer Hollow. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.